Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. People, I did all the things today. I worked, I ate correctly, I got in all my fluids, I walked 12 laps in 96-degree heat. But what didn't happen? Exactly. I didn't get sunburned because I'm on my alkaline diet. Woo woo, go Jules. You can walk in the sun when you're on a proper diet and there is no consequence. Yay. I feel so blessed. All right, so I'm talking about actually 15 tips to help us get back on track when you've fallen off the wagon, the Dietary Wagon. And that's by Laura Dawn, and this is part 2. If you missed part 1, don't panic. You can just go back one video, right? Okay, so let's get on with it. I'm just going to review briefly. Yesterday's had great tips on making a plan and writing it down, so essential. Getting back into the groove, which was finding a routine, And 3 was trying to identify the foods that actually trigger you. What I appreciate in Overeaters Anonymous, and I didn't appreciate it at first because it was really hard to get my head around, they don't actually give you a diet to follow, okay? Because it's actually a program of behavior change and spirituality and getting a balance in your life. And ideally the food will follow, but inevitably people want some program. And so what they do is they help people find out what their trigger is. And so what your abstinence is may indeed not be a problem for somebody else. Like those just aren't their trigger foods, right? And I totally get and appreciate that. So taking a moment to actually jot down your foods and see how you're responding to them and what foods you have no quitting sense when you engage in. Super important. Okay, let's get on to number 4. You're going to love number 4, especially when applied to me. Number 4, sleep until rested. You probably have to sleep first at all in order to figure out when you're actually rested. Sleep until rested. I will say I did get to bed last night by about 10:45, which was miraculous. And as I feared, I laid in bed for a few hours, but that's okay. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to find a balance, people. I'm not going to punish myself if I don't, but that is what I'm proclaiming to my JVV community and to the universe. Okay, so this says, this is a major factor for most people. Research shows that sleep deprivation is linked to weight gain, or certainly the inability to drop the weight. And I personally know this to be true. Sleep deprivation is definitely a trigger for me, and this past week has included some late nights. So to help me get back on track, I gave myself full permission to sleep as much as I needed until I feel fully rested without forcing myself out of bed in the morning. I love the idea of that. Of course, I have to drive 50 miles to work and I have to be at work early as a teacher, but I still like the idea of it. And certainly whenever I can on a Saturday or even a Sunday, I do allow myself to sleep to whatever my natural rhythm is, other than the dogs, the horses, the pig, the bird, my husband, my monkey mind, all haunting me to get up. Okay, I like the idea. I really like the idea. Number 5, take a closer look at stress. Hey, when stress is in your face, how close do you have to look? Okay, stress is another major food trigger for many chronic overeaters. I love that term, chronic overeater. It's so interesting. And it's another trigger for me as well. Even if I reach for a healthier choice, oftentimes feeling stressed, which of course is dessert spelled backwards, prompts me to eat when I'm not really hungry. That's where a stress management plan comes into play. When I noticed myself start to feel stressed this past week, I made a point to take a break, go outside and sit quietly to tune in with my breath. Exercising and meditation are my best stress management techniques that work wonders for me. I get that. I really do. Speaking of stress being dessert spelled backwards, it's Teacher Appreciation Week, right? And of course, as is always true, the Teacher's Lounge is just packed. I want to say with treats, but it's not a treat, is it? Packed with pure sabotage for those who have an inclination that desserts are really good. None of that is. I just quickly remind myself of the eggs, the sugar, the white flour, the whole thing. But I kind of honored myself today. I think it's that self-love program that I'm aiming for. And I went to the principal and I said, wow, it was so kind that you got blank and blank for everybody. And she beamed and said, really, thanks. And then I said, but I'm vegan. She paused a moment. And I said, and no offense at all, but to make my needs known, I would love it if you would honor me too with a piece of fruit, which would be great. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It wasn't about so sorry. It was about me taking care of me. And I said, you can't know unless I stand up for myself, right? And so here I am standing up for myself. And she promised that she would bring me something. And I imagine it'll be a piece of fruit. But I did that. What do you think? It was brave, right? Yeah, I thought it was very brave. I had to go there. Okay, she doesn't owe me anything. She doesn't owe anyone anything. But if she's going to treat everybody, I'd like to be treated too in a way that I can appreciate. And that would be fruit. Okay, then it says, well, let me just touch on this though, the exercise and meditation. Have I ever mentioned Tanny Raw? This like social media phenom on every platform? Yes, I am. I am very fond of Tanny Raw. If you don't know her, you can find her on every health platform. She's amazing, but one of the things, rather than meditate, she says she thinkitates, okay? So she just processes whatever it is she needs to process and sits with that and thinks about whatever it is. For me, meditation, I refer to as prayer because I'm all in for prayer. And I understand the thinkate idea. I'm not much for the snake up the back and like all of that. Like, no, okay, but I will definitely meditate, and I mean, through prayer or thinkitating, I'm all in. But when this person said exercising and recognizing their breathing, I've gotten a little better about that, especially while I'm at school right now. And I do have children face-to-face in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I'm back online. But when I insist when my partner teacher wants to meet and let's get this done and that done during lunch recess, I insist that I take that break and get out there and pound out those laps, because that is getting my stress out. Is it enough? It's a great start. And then inevitably I do the 15 minutes on the rebounder later when I get home. But yeah, it does help me to just physically pound that out, and I definitely get breathing in there. Number 6, recommit to meditation. Again, you might think of that as thinkation for you, and you might think of that as prayer. Do not be threatened by this idea of meditation. Just make it work for you. So it says, I consistently notice when I feel ungrounded, I reach for food to help me feel more grounded. And that may just be a habit from childhood, right? I mean, a lot of us have what we refer to as comfort food. Was it the food or was it the company that we were in at the time that we were consuming that? You know, since we bought raw land and started developing it, we spent about 6 months living here without any running water or electricity. That means no hot showers, no kitchen, and no office to work out of. That was brave. Meditation has a way of helping me to feel more centered within myself and is a proven stress buster. I immediately notice I engage less in mindless eating the more I make time for meditation. That's why meditation, even 5 minutes a day, is a must on my action plan to help me get me back on track when I'm feeling stuck and in a rut. I'm a big Jesus come quickly girl. I call on the Lord all day long. Let me guess. It's Juliana. Yeah, it's Juliana. I mean, Father, I need help. Father, where are you? Father, what are you going to do for me? Jesus, come quickly. I'll call on all of them. Even God, give me a Hail Mary, which is just fun to say, right? Oh, and then, no, this isn't Barbara Bush beads. I was actually sent a free rosary in the mail, which they want a donation for, which is really sweet. And I may choose to do that, but I'm not going to throw out a beautiful rosary. I got people who need rosaries, but I put it on just for fun. Give myself a little bit of peace, because it's very peaceful for me. And I listen to the Mass on the way to school because I have to drive for an hour anyway. And then I listen to some of my social media people that I love. And then during lunch recess, I say the Rosary, which takes about 24 minutes. The Mass takes about 28 minutes. So I kind of like how these timed out a little bit. And it's very freeing to me to have that quality time to just offer up all my people. That's why when I say, let me know how I may help you, especially in prayer, I'm not playing. I can offer anything up at any time. And you just asking is a prayer in itself, which I absolutely love. So that's kind of where I am, you guys. I'm happy to be clean. I will tell you, absolutely every single day, I am haunted by food. Every single day at some point, I start freaking out. I can't focus. I fake my way through while the reels start going about where we should go and what we should eat and how we can hide and how no one needs to know. And I just go through this entire terrible, terrible litany in my head. It's so sad. And I've gotten better about reminding myself, this too shall pass. This isn't going to last much longer. You can do this all day long, but ultimately we're not going to stop. I had all of my food, a lot of food, and it's more fruit than most people would recommend, but the fruit appeases me in terms of wanting sugar, especially when, again, there are so many things being offered for teacher appreciation. Have they seen the hips on most teachers? I mean, come on. Just by the nature of the job, we're kind of stuck in place for hours and hours. But I just have to push through and know, and it certainly worked today, to tell myself that I would honor myself with a bunch of urges in here, because Lord knows, I mean, literally to the car, I had one of those. And I'm not going to say it's a forbidden treat. People can eat whatever they want, but it's not my food. Who did I just sound like? Come on, come on. All right, maybe not, but I thought I just heard Danny Raw. I think I just channeled Danny Raw. So yeah, it's not my food. Well, as I was working my way to the car, thinking, I could just have that, no one's gonna know, somebody else was at their car, and I was able to say, hey, is this your food? And they said, oh yeah, thanks so much. And I was like, thank you, God. Because I had everything I needed, okay? So in terms of intermittent fasting, I guess I'm kind of a 16-8 girl, right? I mean, it depends. Let's be fair. On Tuesdays and Fridays, I probably have a 2-hour window. I just eat my food all in 2 hours and I'm done. So it's more like 20 hours. But on the other days, because I'm trying to get back to, I'm back to a snack and a couple of smoothies. It's more of an 8-hour window, and it tends to go from like 12 to 6 or 7 and sometimes 8. It just depends. So that is kind of working for me, and I was very happy to give that away. Should I have? Did that person need it? They could have declined, I guess. Because I did learn a long time ago to not give people their triggers, right? Don't give alcohol as a gift. Don't give a treat as a gift. I get that, and hopefully I'll get back there as well. But today I did offer that gift, and that person was happy to take it. And I was happy to not partake of it. Let's be fair. All right, so let's go back very quickly. I'm going to humor you and read these very quickly. Tip number 4, sleep until rested. This is a major factor for most people. Research shows that sleep deprivation is linked to weight gain, and I personally know this to be true. Sleep deprivation is definitely a trigger for me, and this past week has included some late nights. So to help me get back on track, I gave myself full permission to sleep as much as I needed until I feel fully rested without forcing myself out of bed in the morning. Tip 5, take a closer look at stress. Stress is another major food trigger for many chronic overeaters, and it's another trigger for me as well. Even if I reach for a healthier choice, oftentimes feeling stressed prompts me to eat when I'm not really hungry. That's where a stress management plan comes into play. When I noticed myself start to feel stressed this past week, I made a point to take a break, go outside, and sit quietly to tune in with my breath. Exercising and meditation are my best stress management techniques that work wonders for me. Number 6, recommit to meditation. I consistently notice when I feel ungrounded, I reach for food to help me feel more grounded. Since we bought raw land and started developing it, we spent about 6 months living here without any running water or electricity. That means no hot showers, no kitchen, and no office to work out of. Meditation has a way of helping me to feel more centered within myself and is a proven stress buster. I immediately notice I engage less in mindless eating the more I make time for meditation. That's why meditation, even 5 minutes a day, is a must on my action plan to help get me back on track when I'm feeling stuck in a rut. Good job on not interrupting. The ADHD part of me wanted to interrupt like 5 times. I made it through. The only interesting thing I'll say is how, pray tell, with no electricity and no office and no anything, did she make this video? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm such a brat. This was from 2014. Anyway, I'm really grateful for this. I'll do more tomorrow. This is a 5-part program. This was just part 2 on 15 tips to help you get back on track when you've fallen off your dietary wagon. And this is by Laura Dawn, and I know that she does have a couple of books that she's written and other great things that are available. All right, my friends. Like if you like, join us if you haven't. Subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you, especially in prayer. And until we talk again, thanks for stopping by, JBV. And best of all, know that you are blessed.